All right, folks, hour number 3 of the big extravaganza they call the Steve Malzberg Show. And I'm happy to say that joining us once again, we gave her a vacation for a little bit so she could charge up those batteries. And Judith Miller is back with us, Senior Fellow at Manhattan Institute, Newsmax contributor. Hello.
Hi, how are you, Steve?
Good to talk to you. All right, as I was taking my break at the top of the hour, CNN was breaking news from their Pentagon correspondent and quoting unnamed White House, or no, should I say U.S. officials, that they're a little disappointed and a little troubled and a little worried that Syria is not poised and not ready to give up all of their chemical weapons. And they pointed out various conflicts and problems. If this were to be the case, would this be a surprise to you?
Well, it wouldn't be a surprise, but I think we have to step back and look at the big picture here, and that is that this is a country that had the largest arsenal of chemical weapons in the Middle East, which for about 30 years they denied having had. And in the space of a few months, they have given a large portion of them, if not all of them, up. They have agreed to destroy them. They've agreed to join the chemical weapons treaty, and they've agreed to inspectors in their country. And in this case, Steve, I think I want to look at the glass being half full rather than half empty.
Okay, fair enough. But certainly, you know, the chemical weapons are chemical weapons, and they had so much time to move them. And what CNN is saying is that our intelligence suggests Syria is hiding chemical weapons, and they're not going to be giving them all up. So how much of a good thing it is, I'll bow to your half full as opposed to half empty. But still, in all, we should know that if it's Russia and Syria that we're putting our trust in, that there's going to be problems.
I don't think anyone is trusting. I think what we're doing is attempting to verify what they say they're going to do. And remember, by the way, at least 2 of these sites that were singled out by inspectors in terms of where it is believed that the Syrians
they couldn't get to.
They couldn't get to, and remember where those are. I mean, I am not happy about the prospect of the jihadis in the northern part of Syria getting their hands on these chemical weapons any more than I am with the prospect of the Syrians hiding them. But I really think what's happened, if you step back and you look at where we were 6 months from now, is just nothing short of remarkable. And the OPCW should be commended. And frankly, as sloppy and messy and inchoate as the process was that got us there, even the administration has to get some credit for having helped this process along. All
right. We shall see where this goes. Again, the U.S. intelligence saying that there's various threads of information that, quote-unquote, would shake our confidence as far as Syria giving up its chemical weapons or all of its chemical weapons. We'll get back to that at a later date. Let's talk about what took place yesterday. Iran holding the largest anti-American protests in years. It came on another anniversary, of course, of the raiding of the U.S. Embassy, the taking of the hostages in Tehran back in 1979. At the same time, on the same day, State Department spokeswoman defended the Obama administration's call for a pause in new Iranian sanctions, saying that they want to keep talking to Iran about nuclear weapons and them giving them up.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and your question?
Well, my question is how naive are they? I mean, you know, to me it boggles my mind. The landscape now. I mean, to me, I just don't think. I look at what we've helped create in Syria. I look that we're fighting alongside Al Qaeda in Syria against American law, by the way, and I'm just astounded. I look at, and we'll get to Egypt in a second, that this administration cut off much military aid because they're in love with the tyrant Morsi, who's finally going to go on trial, it seems, in January, and I'm astounded. And now I look at what's happening with Iran and the naivete to believe that Iran is going to give up its nuclear weapons or its quest for nuclear weapons, and that Obama is willing to shake hands and sit down and talk with a guy who has so much blood on his hands, aside from the nuclear issue. Maybe I shouldn't be astounded anymore.
Well, look, here's my take on Iran. and what's going on at the moment is that it's true. Yesterday we had the anniversary of the embassy takeover, which is always Death to America Day.
Right,
and,
right.
Never let a good anniversary go by. But I think if you step back and you look at everything that's happened, and you look at where we are in the Iranian program, we're in much better shape than we were a year ago. And let me tell you why I argue that. First of all, I don't think this administration is naive at all about the Iranians. If you look at Wendy Sherman's testimony, the Undersecretary for Political Affairs, up on the Hill recently, she was asked about, how can we believe these people? It's exactly the question you asked, Steve, and she responded, deception is part of the DNA. Deception's part of the Iranian DNA. That got supporters of Iran hugely angry, and they said she was a racist. But the fact of the matter is, they are well aware that Iran is under tremendous pressure and feels that it needs to do something both to shore up the Islamic Republic and to get the economy moving again, to get rid of these sanctions. So if they're willing to make some concessions and to scale back the scope and the pace of the progress in their their nuclear program, that's good. Let's remember that 10 years ago, and this I have to thank Foreign Minister Javad Zarif for, 10 years ago when we invaded Iraq, Iran had 160 centrifuges spinning. Now today they have 18,000. So we've got to do something to slow down this program. Now, there are two things you can do. There are people who say the only thing to do is to bomb, but our military says, oh, well, that would slow down the program for about a year or maximum 2 if we could do anything at all. Or you can get them to respond to the economic pressure that has, in the course of 2 administrations, been put on them to stop this program and suspend it. Now, we don't know that they're there yet, but what I do know is that they're willing to come to the table and try, because the Iranian people booted out the hardliners who were there and put a new group of people in charge.
But Judy, it's true that, with all due respect, that to run for president of Iran, you have to get approval from the Ayatollahs. Not anybody could run. So when you talk about a hardliner and this guy is different, he's not a hardliner. He's the same hardliner. He's got the blood on his hands of Americans and others from years gone by. I mean, it just seems to me that I had an IAEA guy, career gentleman on 2 days ago who said they're a month away. They can make a bomb in a month.
Absolutely, which is why it's incumbent. I mean, I don't know that that's true, but I know what the estimates are. The most dire estimates, and we should be worried, and of course everybody should be worried, and of course you can't trust. You have to try and verify and set up a verification regime. But look at what happened on Sunday. The very man that you talk about, and we all know has American blood on his hands, which is Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader, basically gave a speech in which he said to the hardliners, back off. Give our negotiators at Geneva a chance to do a deal that's going to relieve the pressure of the sanctions, and let's see if we can do a deal. If we can do anything at this point to slow down that program, if anybody else has a better solution, I'm willing to hear it. But at the moment, I think you've got to play out the negotiating track. And as you know, Steve, I'm not a kind of kumbaya person.
No, I know.
I'm very tough, but I'm telling you, I agree with Ken Pollack in his new book when he says a negotiated deal that really does get inspectors anywhere, anytime into the country and gets the Iranians to perhaps shut down the plutonium track that they've been working on and slow down the centrifuges and to scale back their program, maybe the best we can hope for. I think that's something that people ought to listen to and think about before we resort to other measures. So on balance, I'm encouraged.
Okay. And Judy, always good to talk to you. We'll have to put Morsi on the back burner for next time. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Anytime.
All right.
Steve.
Take care.
Right,
Judy
bye-bye.
Miller, ladies and gentlemen, Senior Fellow, Manhattan Institute, Newsmax contributor. We're coming back. You want to weigh in? 877 Newsmax. Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.